I write fairy tales and legends and myths and stories.
Do you receive them or do you direct them?
I receive them.
Yes,
I
you
used
do.
to direct them.
Yes, you do.
And since, this is why I'm here, since I'm down a path where I know I'm a vessel, and that more and more I'm going, well, what if I don't have any ideas and all I'm taking everything from source? And
Right. Yeah.
Is every book like that?
Well, you see, though, it's important to acknowledge that your life has caused you to put the questions out there. You're not just attracting with no relationship to your own desire. We want to put to you, and we've not ever had this conversation before. We are very excited about this conversation. Should a human feel diminishment if they've received the thought rather than thought the thought? But a lot of people would say, oh, I need to think these thoughts because receiving it is just too easy. Let's discuss this. What's the distinction between thinking a thought and receiving a thought? Well, really what we're talking about, in either case, it's a vibration. And in either case, it's a vibration that is being interpreted through your brain. And so in step one, you might say, I'm thinking the thought, but the situation might have caused you to receive the thought. So what if step one is receiving not under the influence of source, like receiving from the problems and the struggles and the trauma of the mass consciousness that surrounds you, receiving? And what if step three or step five are receiving from source? And so let's just call all the thoughts for a little while receiving. But we have a big question for you. If a tree falls in the forest and there's no one there to hear it, did it make a sound? When it fell, there was a vibration that happened, because this is just the physics of nature. But if there's not an eardrum there to reflect the vibration and translate it into something that you would call a sound, then there was no sound, there was just a vibration, because the ear had to be there to hear it. So in like manner, if source is raining down a vibration and there's no one tuned in to receive it, did it happen? No. So who thought the thought? You did. When you received it, and we're just trying to give you a little justification for your terrible existence. We just want you to acknowledge that when you receive a thought, you can take credit for thinking the thought, but we want you to just start asking yourself, as this occurred to me, under what influence was I? Was I under the influence of source, or was I under the influence of CNN? Am I under the influence of source, or am I under the influence of watching people at the swimming pool or squabbling with each other? What influence am I under? So we took a little wild goose chase around that, but we think that it will be helpful to you. So now what? So you are receiving.
I'm receiving a lot.
It seemed like you were probing in the direction of, or maybe it was us. Are you thinking the thought or receiving the thought, and are you good either way?
I'm good either way. I write myself.
Really? Because you're going to get royalties for this. You're going to get royalties, and there might be those who don't think you should get any royalties for thoughts you didn't think that you just received.
Well, I won't. I'm just so blessed all the time, and now I write myself into corners on purpose, because I know it's not me coming up with the solution. I'll have it inspired.
How do you know you wrote yourself in? Maybe you received it. How do any of you know that when you're having a step one moment that you weren't receiving inspiration from source to go put your finger on a question so that you could cause a solution to occur? Isn't that what expansion and evolution is all about? Why are you so quick to condemn yourself when you've got a question? Why do you only praise yourself when you have answers? Why do you condemn yourselves when you have a problem? Don't you need a problem before you can have a solution? And isn't the solution motion forward? Yeah.